YouTube, what's going on? It's Rob with Sprayer Splash Fragrance Reviews. 2021 release from the House of Brioni, EDP Intense. If you're interested in finding out about the fragrance, please stay tuned. All right, YouTube. So let's kick the year off with the first fragrance review. And this, again, this is from the House of Brioni. This is Brioni EDP Intense. Wow. Wow. This is a stunner, in my humble opinion. Again, it's a 2021 release. And I didn't smell everything that came out last year, but I do believe this is probably one of the better releases from 2021. It is a designer release, and I'll put that preference on it because I know a lot of folks like to get into designer, niche, indie, what have you. I just think it's really, really well done, man, top to bottom. I must make this comparison because I think it's going to come up for a lot of people. This fragrance reminds me of Layton by Parfums de Marly. And I think it's because it's got this prominent apple note, but that's really about it. In the beginning, Brioni EDP Intense starts off with this really fresh apple accord, okay? And to me, it's more natural smelling than the Layton apple accord. But from that point on, the fragrances kind of go into two different directions. After about 5 minutes in, the Brioni kind of changes, and it kind of starts to take on like this woody and slightly smoky accord, where the Layton is more like, the apple, woods, and vanilla. And then that's really about the comparison. That's it. Brioni EDP Intense is more refined, it's more buttoned up. I really think that it would work better and dress better for professional settings, even for dates. It's kind of got that certain class to it and reservedness to it, where I think it would work in those scenarios. And because it's not so big, it can work for a date. It smells very polished. It's just really nicely put together, and it's got all the makings of a fragrance that, in my humble opinion, could actually blow up and appeal to a large variety of people. So it definitely has mass appeal. Whether it'll do that or not, I can't say. Again, if some of the bigger reviewers start to review this fragrance, maybe it'll do that. Who knows? I'm really happy to have it in the collection, and I'll give a little more detail right now. So the actual notes from top to bottom are bergamot, tangerine, and pink pepper in the opening. In the mid, you've got green apple, patchouli, saffron, and in the base, you've got oud, ambroxan, and vanilla. So as I stated, it kind of transitions into that like apple, smoky, slightly woody accord. Then it eventually gets to where it's like the apple really falls further into the background, and it's really more about like they say oud, but I'm just gonna say woody note, saffron, and then there's a slight vanilla accord in the far dry down. It's like a 5 to 6 hour fragrance. It is not a huge projecting fragrance, but it has nice sillage. Price point is about $100. Brioni is not a brand that you see a whole lot. I do know that it's a men's clothing brand. So I don't really know at this point if it's going to be a fragrance you're going to find heavily discounted. There was another release, I think, that came out earlier in 2021, and it was simply the Brioni EDP. That fragrance was different in a sense that it was, in my opinion, more of a take on like a Bleu de Chanel type fragrance. I smelled it at a Von Maur in the Chicagoland area back in October of last year, and that's kind of like the first impression I got from it. Somebody might say something totally different, but that's what I remember about the fragrance. It kind of reminded me of a Bleu de Chanel type fragrance, but it was nice also. It was kind of powdery, blue and kind of powdery. But this one is just I mean, this is a stunner to me. You know, I mean, it's not something that's totally new. You don't really get the apple accord that much, but the way they did the apple accord with it being so fresh and juicy in the beginning, maybe it's because of the pink pepper mixed with the apple, and maybe they've got something else there that's really, you know, giving it that freshness, but it's really fresh in the opening. And then again, it just transitions and it's just so classy and refined. It's going to be a fragrance that a lot of folks, I think, are going to actually like. But I think if you're looking for something that's going to project like crazy beast mode, I would say go with the Layton. I think that's a better option for that. This one is more classy and more refined. Great release. So there you go. From the house of Brioni, this is Brioni EDP Intense. Hey guys, thank you so much for checking out the video. If you've never subscribed to the channel, I highly encourage you to do so. And this is the first of many to come for the year 2022. Talk to you soon. Peace.